call for volunteers to help the vulnerable at a moment's notice.
There's a certain type of need that happens in that moment when the crisis is happening that makes it especially valuable for volunteers and staff to be there on the scene with the victims.
The Travis County Sheriff's Office Victim Services Unit has helped thousands of victims of crime and crisis, but the number of calls for the unit has increased at least 45% in just the last 6 years, which has the Sheriff's Office asking for more help. KXAN's Brittany Glass explains they cannot run the risk of leaving victims without those services.
There really are situations when you go out on some of these calls that you can not imagine yourself or your family facing.
David Holmes meets strangers on some of the worst days of their lives. He's a volunteer with the Victim Services Unit, responding to calls of all kinds, from sexual assaults and domestic violence to deadly car accidents.
Anything from a structure fire to a robbery to elder abuse. There isn't anything you can think of that law enforcement would respond to.
The unit fills in the gaps for deputies and emergency personnel when they may be unable to give victims their undivided attention on scene.
And you've got to figure out what that person needs in that time and help them attain it. And so your biggest job is really being a problem solver.
But the Sheriff's Office says they don't have enough volunteers like Holmes.
It's crucial that they have someone there that is only there for them, that is really looking at the totality of the circumstances.
It can be as simple as a shoulder to cry on. The unit responds to victims' immediate emotional needs, then focuses on the short and long term.
Getting the counseling they need, getting the medical assistance they need, maybe even helping them strategize on how to get out of their current job and into another one while they're at risk.
For Holmes, it's about making a difference.
But I can try to help make their really bad day a little less bad by being there in the moment and trying to help them attain the services they need.
Brittany Glass, KXAN News.
We checked and found so far this year, every month but April has had more calls for the Victim Services Unit. January saw the biggest jump with 34 this year versus 21 last year. At this point, there have been 30 more calls this year. The total number of victims is 325 versus 232 last year. For more information about program requirements and for a link to apply, head over to KXAN.com.